Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at every single challenge for the second stage of the Dokkan Ultimate Battle. Now this is against Broly, and basically, to cut a long story short, the first challenges, like the first challenge, which will complete 2 of them, I will do. So I will show you guys the full battle so that you can see everything, and then from there on just the teams will be shown. So you'll see the team completing it, and I'll just talk you through some brief guides on the teams. The reason being is because the vast majority of the teams actually are kind of just centered around one unit dealing a whole bunch of damage, and then the rest of the units kind of just not dying. Like, that's basically the strategy for a lot of the teams. A lot of these teams also will finish the 3-turn mission, and some will even finish the super or extreme missions, but generally speaking, you'll probably finish 3 turns a couple times. I also do want to say that there are some teams that could very easily double as both. Like one of the ones that's a big one is Majin Power and Super Saiyan 3 could very easily be done on the same team if you have either an Int Majin Buu or an AGL SS3 Goku. Same with Fusion Warriors and Resurrected Warriors, and a little bit kind of the same as androids and full power. But realistically speaking, I have done separate teams for every single challenge to give a bit more variety, more so than anything else. Now, Broly is a single phase of a strength unit, so he is a strength only unit, 1 phase, 1 turn, and all he does is a AoE, a relatively tough hitting AoE, and he fires a super attack that raises his attack, and on top of that, what he does is basically he can multi-super, so he can multiple super. It's relatively annoying. It's not impossible to take on Broly. You can't use any support items or any support memories or anything, so in these type of situations, AGL units are your best friend. Why are AGL units your best friend? Because they will be the ones that are most likely to be able to soak up damage, especially from his AoE attacks. They don't hit super hard, like a lot of more current units can handle them quite easily, but what they do is they do hit you decently tough, and they can get some big chip damage on you, which is usually the big problem that players will face, is that chip damage will whittle away at you and cause you some issues because of how low it semi gets you, and that's really your big kind of focal point. So besides that, there's not anything really else to say. Most of the other missions are relatively easy to complete, and I'll say that to be honest with you, it's a fun challenge. I think it's cool to make so many different teams. I think players can be frustrated depending on how fast you're trying to go with this. Like, I think a lot of players probably want to do all of it in one day, but it's only worth 1 stone, so just take it in as you can. Broly is a bit of a glass cannon though, so he hits you hard and he can get hit pretty hard as well. One thing, however, is you do have to do critical hits. So you have to incur critical hits on Broly. This is pretty vital, as without critical hits you just won't do damage, unless it's from type advantage units or things like that. But generally speaking, you won't do damage if you don't hit Broly with critical hits. On top of that as well, attack lowering is definitely by far and away the best method of reducing the effectiveness of Broly. You can lower his attack, and this will probably help you out a lot, especially with things like the normal attacks, the AoE attacks, etc. The supers will still hit pretty hard, but for the most part you'll be able to cope. This first team here covers extreme and covers the under 3 turns mission. This next team here shows you the super mission. So with this one, just kind of went stock standard. And went with like a movie heroes lineup. Really some strong units in the movie heroes lineup. A lot of fun to use. Very straightforward, super duper simple. Lots of attack down, which helped out a lot. and some good strong AGL components as well, which were really quite good. Then next we move on to the category mission. So this is full power. You can see we need 3 full power category units. We are running a little bit of a Kamehameha / AGL lineup here. A lot of the units that will hard carry you through some of the challenges will hard carry you through a lot of the other ones. So like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he hard carries quite a bit here. He also hard carries in the Super Saiyan 3 one, the Res Warriors one. I think he's Res Warriors, yeah, but you can use him there. But yeah, just basically like some units you'll see a few times because of how useful they are in the challenge in general. So yeah, that's something super important, of course. And then, yeah, otherwise there's not too much really to say there. Now, after the full power mission, we move on to androids. Androids was interesting. I tried Android 21 as a lead, and that went okay-ish, but I find that Gamma 2 is definitely the better unit for me. It's more the fact that he builds up his attack and crit, which is something very helpful when you crit. Like, obviously, that's a main source of damage, and he can hit pretty hard, and he can crit pretty frequently. So I felt like he ultimately, at the end of the day, actually came out being a very good unit to use specifically for this challenge, and he did really well here, just kind of hard carrying our damage payload, which I think was actually very important for us, which I think is really awesome. So yeah, we got that done. Then we move on to Fusion. So Fusion, to be honest with you, this one was actually relatively tough. A lot of the reasons being is I tried to build a team that didn't use Movie Gogeta, that could use Movie Gogeta. It wasn't the hardest, but the Power Beyond Super Saiyan units do help. I think also as well, Movie Gogeta does hard carry a lot, especially if you have a friend that's like 100% lead. That helps out a lot because of just the sheer damage they can do, more so than anything else, really. Next, we have Res Warriors. So this one was actually very interesting. Originally, I tried like a Wicked Bloodlines team with metal coolers. It did work, kind of, like it failed almost. But I just felt like a lot of the units were taking too much damage. I was relying a lot on the giant forms to do the damage. So I just switched things up a little bit. And in this way, I could rely on Harudagon as a friend lead, and it just felt a lot better. Harudagon hard carried very well. So I just felt like that would be a better team, and it turns out it was. Harudagon was great. Then we have Majin Power. Stock standard Majin Power team. Throw on a physical Buhan and you'll get there eventually and win, basically. Like I said, you could combine this with Majin Buu Saga. You don't need to have your own physical Buhan, but you do need to have some kind of Majin Buu, Majin Saga lead, so that you can use a friend one or even an int one. I wouldn't say necessarily you have to finish this challenge with Buhan, especially if you're combining the teams to link it together. With Majin Buu Saga, you can use an AGL SS3 Goku and have it done anyway. So there's a way to net them both in one go. But we get to Super Saiyan 3, and this one I'm using a Majin Buu derivative team. We've got AGL SS3 Goku, we've got Int Gotenks, Tech Gotenks, Tech Goku, Angel Goku, the free-to-play one. All good options, all that are quite available, all fairly strong. You do need to be a bit aware of Gotenks. If they get hit, they will take quite a fair chunk of damage. But otherwise, Super Saiyan 3 can be very hard carried by AGL SS3 Goku. If he gets 2 supers and just gets crits on both, 9 times out of 10, Broly is literally deleted. So that does tend to help out a little bit. The next one is Wicked Bloodlines. Here, in terms of Wicked Bloodlines, wanted to obviously prioritize some AGL units. A big advantage of Wicked Bloodlines, much like some of the other teams, even the Extreme team from earlier, is the ability to use AGL First Form Frieza, a unit that was only released after the fact on Global, or after JP, but on Global before the celebration. So it actually genuinely helps out quite a bit. Then on top of that, big thing is just his sheer amount of damage he does against pure Saiyans. So he can instantly lead Broly as well. It's just kind of getting him out there. Next we have Realm of the Gods. Honestly here, there's so many different teams you could make. I actually just tried to make a random one. There are so many different teams you can make with the Realm of the Gods. It's insane. Wanted to do a Reps of Universe 7 one. Worked out pretty fine. Obviously, Strength UI Goku with his EZA is pretty good. This is a pre-EZA AGL MUI Goku. Also does more than fine if he's not hit by a super, which mine was, which defeats the point in him, but anyway. And then you also have, of course, you know, the Strength Kaioken Goku, who will do enough damage to instantly Broly as well if you get a Spirit Bomb off, so that's really, really cool. Next we have Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan, probably the easiest category to make here. Tons of options, again, trying to keep it light, trying to not rely on some of the more later units. You can use Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta as your lead or a friend. I find that the int one's just nice because of the fact that they have their active skill, which often means when you do go to the third turn that you can just use it to instant delete Broly as well, which is cool, so that's really great. And then last but not least, we of course have Saiyan Saga. Now Saiyan Saga actually is quite tough. A lot of players are going to struggle with Saiyan Saga. The key to Saiyan Saga is to try not to use Saiyan Saga. So in whatever way you can facilitate using the AGL Freezer. In my way it was through Inhuman Deeds, but you could possibly do it, I believe, through Raditz. So, well, actually I don't even know if Raditz can do it, but yeah, basically it's a tough one, but you can get it done. There's enough roster units there. Saiyan Saga is tough though, so I do completely understand. You know, it can be tough for a lot of people, so don't feel pressured. It can definitely be rough. But yeah, that's it. That is everything done. So try to keep it short and sweet. If you are struggling, you can just pause at the certain sections of the video, of course.